client. So one or two lines, let's say 5, 10 lines are repeating, and you can't do anything about it. Just leave it. Just leave it. No issues. The client comes back in. Generally, they don't come back. If they comes back, you can try doing an alternative stuff. You cannot. You need not to pressurize yourself to reduce all the boilerplate code. It is impossible. You can only reduce boilerplate code to some extent. But some articles suggest that you can reduce boilerplate code completely. No, completely I don't think it is possible, because for me it hasn't been possible so far. Okay, I don't believe that. Once you're done with this, if you run the application, it runs the same way. If you hit on plus, the value is incrementing. If you click on minus, the value is decrementing. That's working fine. Now, if the screen is rotated, yes, the value is getting reset. Okay, let me go to the material, classroom.google.com. Data binding and view model. Sorry, yeah. So what is data binding? Everything you can get it from here. Okay. Adding this thing. Now, what is view model and what is the life cycle of a view model? To understand that, you just have to go to view model overview. And you get to see the view model is this subclass. The view model class is a business logic or screen level stakeholder. It exposes state to the UI and encapsulates related business logic. Its principal advantage is that it caches states and persists through the configuration changes. This means that your UI does not have to fetch data again when navigating between activities or following configuration change, such as when rotating the screen. Okay, you can learn about view model here. Today we'll finish view model as well. So if you observe the life cycle of a view model, you get to see that your view model is created during the on create, whenever your activity is created. Okay, you will be basically attaching the view model to an activity so that the state will be persistent. Okay, when you do that, your view model will be created when an activity is created, and it is destroyed when your activity is finally destroyed, when it is removed out of the memory. Only then there will be a callback method called onClear that will be called on view model scope, and your view model gets um, what do we call it? Then your view model gets destroyed only after encountering onClear method. During this entire process, if your activity is rotated from on pause, on stop, on destroy to on create, on start, on resume, your activity is going through the life cycle of itself. But even then, your view model scope is still alive. If you closely see, your view model scope is still alive during the configuration change or activity rotation happening. But when your activity is completely removed out of the memory, you are calling on cleared method on the view model scope. Right? Let's see how this view model works. So in order to add a view model, I think we are supposed to take a dependency, but view model is now available defaultly. Let us try that out, okay? Without a dependency, let us try that out. If that is not working, we'll create a new one. So all model classes we can create in a separate folder, but for now I'm directly creating a model class for main activity. I'll call it main view model. And this view model has to extend to view model class of Android. View model, right? We need a constructor. So Alt insert constructor, yeah, create one. empty constructor. This is needed to understand if a view model is created or not. Now we have on cleared method. On cleared. So this method gets invoked as soon as the view model is destroyed. Okay. So this is the basic structure of a view model. What we need to do, we need to create a view model, extend it to view model. I'm just creating a constructor to just know if a view model is created or not. And I'm creating on cleared method. I'm just overriding on cleared method to know if a view model is destroyed or not. Okay, moving on. So here let us paste a log.e or log.i information. So the tag name is simply tag and the message is I will write view model is created. Okay, for a tag, let us create a static constant. Create a field tag in main view model. It is a string tag. And that is equal to main. Okay, main is a tag, all caps. Put a semicolon at the end. And when the cleared method is called, you will write the same log.i, not vi. Tag is main or tag. Tag is tag. The message is view model is destroyed. Right. So on main activity during the onCreate method, what I will do is I'll create a main view model object first. We create a main view model object. I'll call it MVM. And I will initialize this MVM here. MVM is equal to new main view model. That's it. So with this, what I'll have in mind is I'm going to associate a main view model to this activity, right? So there is an error, it seems. Do we have an error here? Yes, semicolon is the error. Okay. So can I run this application to see if my view model is not getting created again and again when the configuration changes of an activity is happening? Shall we check that? I hope I'll see positive changes happening. Let us check that out. Let us open logcat, wait in for main. See, your activity is running now. And you see that the view model is created. So when you rotate the screen, the view model should not be created again. But in this case, it is getting created again. Can you see that? So your view model scope is actually not alive across the activity lifecycle callbacks. That is not true because we initialize the view model in a wrong way. We are actually creating a new constructor every time. We are actually creating a new object of main view model every time you encounter on create method. That is the big problem. So view model, whenever it is created, it is not supposed to be initialized this way. Only for this reason you see that the view model is created, but on cleared method is not called. Correct? Hope you understood that point. So instead of writing new main view model, we write new view model provider. Okay, new view model provider of this dot get of main view model dot class. Simple. This is how you need to initialize. Only then your your output will be as expected. Now, let us say I'm just running this application, and if my view model is created, I should still be able to see only one view model, even if I rotate my screen. So the latest view model is created at 7:45, 14 seconds, and 735 milliseconds. Now, if I rotate my screen from portrait to landscape, my view model is not created again. See, I have only got the last view model here. View model is created. It is not created again. Let me jump it back to normal, and you still see that there is only one view model available. What if I remove this from the context? Then my view model is destroyed. Can you see that now? Okay, how many of you understood these changes? With a simple creation of this main view model and with a simple initialization of the main view model. Akanksha understood it. Thank you, Akanksha. Thank you, all the Fraja, for responding. How about others? Thanks. So I take it as a yes from all of you. Now, how do we store data and separate the UI logic with UI with the business logic? So to separate out here with business logic, all the business logic, I'm going to keep it inside main view model. So the business logic here is managing the value of count upon the user interactions. If plus is clicked, you should increase the value and keep it away. If minus is clicked, you should take out the value and keep it away. So let us divide the UI with the business logic. So how? I'll tell you. So on main view model, you can create a public object or integer count. Okay, first initialize it to count is equal to, sorry, count is equal to 0. So I'm initializing count value when the main view model is created. So understand the logic here. View model is created only when the activity is created, and it is destroyed only when it is destroyed, when the activity is destroyed. When the activity is rotated, your view model is not going to be created again. That is the reason I initialized count value to 0 in main view model. Nice. So next I will have two methods. Public void main, sorry, public void increment, and public void decrement. Okay. In the increment, you write count plus plus. In the decrement, you write count minus minus. And in main activity, instead of calling count plus plus, you call mvn dot increment. And instead of calling count minus minus, you call mvm dot decrement. Okay. Remove this integer count right from here. Okay. And simply, you just have to go ahead. Just have to go ahead. Check if mvm not equal to null. So if there is already an mvm object available, simply go ahead, write binding dot text view dot set text, write string dot value of mvm dot count. Okay, the same line I can copy, I can paste it here. Okay, I can further reduce this code so that there is no boilerplate code. But yes, it is absolutely fine to maintain it like this. So increment and decrement are called, yeah. Nice. The app is up and running if you see. If you increment score and now you rotate the screen. from portrait to landscape. The score is still persistent. Let us increase the score to furthermore, like to 15 or 16. Let us rotate the screen from portrait to landscape. You get to see the score is still 16. Let us decrement the score a little bit. Now let us rotate the screen from portrait to landscape. You see 10. So your data is persistently stored across the activity life cycle changes or the orientation changes of an activity. So view model provider is something that looks at it like that actually looks at this one, this key part. Is the activity destroyed permanently or is it just rotated? So that will be seen by your view model provider. Otherwise, we would have been creating main view models new object and um, struggle seeing that the view model is always resetting. Correct. So this one thing you got to remember in this concept, and the others falls in place automatically. Sounds simple, right? But you need to practice it. Otherwise, this is a very volatile subject, I would say, especially when it comes to jetpack components. It is really very volatile. They are really very volatile. So you'll feel like you understood the concept. You will still understand the concept conceptually, but if you are asked to do it, then you'll face the real difficulty. Please simply practice this. Once or twice you practice it, um, and then you will get comfortable with this concept. You'll do wonders with this concept. Because see, the coding is too less. With too less coding, we are achieving too big results. Right? Tomorrow we will add live data to the same application. The same application I'm going to use. Live data you can use tomorrow. And with that live data, you will get to understand how to use it, how to create observer pattern so that you need not update the code every time your count variable changes. Right? Do not miss out the session on tomorrow. Okay. I'm having a difficulty with my legs. My legs are paining too much because these days I'm going for the workout. So my legs are paining too much. So maybe if I feel like they're too that is too difficult to maintain, maybe tomorrow or the day after tomorrow I'll need to take a leave. I'll inform you that. I'll inform to the admin. Okay. But do not miss out the session on live data. That is my point. Okay. Sure, Sarfaraj Khan. Please take my email ID. Make a note of it. I'm typing it here. Right. So you have my email ID. Please uh, email your doubts so that we can look into it. So I'll push these changes to Bitbucket so that you can work along. Right. With that, we come to the end of a session. End of this session. We still have more concepts to cover. Actually, we are going slow. It seems. Yeah. That's okay, but I don't want to rush on the topics. Let it take some time. A week or a week or two is fine for me. A room is another. Your room is a database concept, Akansha. Like it is built as a separate layer on top of SQLite. Even room comes under architecture components. We'll talk about room database this week only. Maybe on Wednesday or Thursday. We'll talk about it. We'll work with an application basically. And some changes. Click push origin master. Nice. So now you have the data in GitHub. Enjoy. Have a very fantastic day ahead. Tomorrow we'll meet at sharp 7 o'clock. Thank you. Take care.